This is Steve Ridgel, and I just returned from my 6 month to 1 year checkup with my dermatologist. Now, the reason I do that is because several years ago I had a melanoma cut off my chest, and then just a couple of years ago I had a large melanoma cut out of my head. It's cancer, and so if you look real close, you can see a scar right in through here where they did that, and you're going, no, what I saw were a bunch of little black things like scabs or wounds or what is that on your head? Well, that's because when I go to the dermatologist, here's what he does. He takes some kind of freeze thing, goes bzz, 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 all over my head. He does that to catch spots before they have a chance to turn cancerous. And this time he even cut a little place off my back because he said, I think it's okay, but I don't quite like the way it looks. And with your history, let's catch it early. You know, if you've read my book, Wounds and the Scars, about people that love Jesus and can't get past their sin, you'll know that I advocate in some ways that you have to do sin just like they do these spots on my head. You have to be aggressive. You have to cut out your sin. You have to do radical surgery. And then you do checkups to be sure it doesn't come back. That's what all this is. This is preventative. Let's be sure. Let's don't let you get back to where you were. Well, I think there's an obvious spiritual lesson there. If you're struggling to follow Jesus and you got the sin out of your life, but you want to keep from going back to the old patterns, back to the old sin, back to the old life, then you need to be vigilant and diligent about how you do things. You need to watch for those little signs. Watch for those times when you're vulnerable and take precautions. If you find yourself getting a little not real good around the edges of your life, take care of that. I mean, the person that struggles with lust, for instance, and you find yourself going back by the secretary's desk, or the person that drinks and find themselves all of a sudden having wine almost every meal and knowing that's just one step from a descent back into alcohol, or the person who gossips and they find themselves listening. Now, they may not be gossiping yet, but they're listening more than they probably should. Whatever those little things on the edges are, you need to clean up. Do that. Be vigilant. Find friends and occasionally ask your friends, hey, how do you think I'm doing? I wish more people would use elders that way. Elders are spiritual leaders. Find your elder that are your two or three that are yours and go to them occasionally and say, what do you think about? And you know me, how am I doing with? I think those are important things, just like this is important, because I don't want to get melanoma again. I don't want to have cancer. I don't want them to have to cut it out. And so if they can do some preventative, some let's catch it early. And you know what? That's a really good spiritual lesson. We don't want to go back to the days when we're fighting for our faith in ways that are dangerous. We don't want to go back to living in the shadowlands. We want to be in the light with Jesus. We want to submit to the Spirit, not to the sin. So let's be careful around the edges of our life and take care of sin before it gets too deeply rooted.